As I did in one of my recordings, I was born in South Africa. I was born amongst four groups of people, the Indian and Asian community, the African nation, the colored community, and the white community. But the most impressive of all these communities was the African community. I grew up as a young person. I worked in a herbalist shop that belonged to my uncle, and we used to sell African medicine. And I marveled at the medicine that they used to have. The Africans had barks and trees, and as the African would say, a lot of nyamazan, which is all the medicine for healing and curing. And of course, modern medication came along and they kind of shifted away. The African medication was so wonderful that it cured people of all kinds of ailments. They used to do things like bringing out all the muck out of the body, and they used to use medicine to remove things from their digestive systems. So the African community had so much of value in their medicine, and they moved to modern medicine, which was very different. I look at the traditions of the African, what great traditions. They would, have a huge pot in the village, and they would serve the entire community, or the families around would eat out of the same pot. They would share, a very valued tradition. So over time, the African has changed to modernization, and they kind of lost a lot of their culture, I feel. I think if they brought back their culture of their old ways, it'll be wonderful. As I sit here today, I see the sun setting, and the Africans say, Mshonalanga, Mshonandugu, as the sun goes down, the sticks down. I say differently. I say, Pumalanga, Pumamdugu, pick up the stick, and the sun's rising, let us change life. Let us lift the energies of people so that we can become better. There's nothing better than the African way of unity and love and getting together and following the old traditions. Now, in my SMA courses, I try and depict this kind of picture of the African person in my talks. What a beautiful culture, what a beautiful tradition. I remember the time my father was walking across a path, and on the far end of the path, on the other side coming towards him, were warriors, African warriors, and they were coming towards him, and they saw him, and they stopped, they spoke to each other, and they walked around, right? They didn't take the same path as him, they walked away from him so he could continue on his path. What kind of respect was that? What a beautiful thing to do, because they didn't want to confront him and for anything to happen. They had this great amount of respect for a person of another race. To me, those are the things that we need to value. We need to value life, we need to value traditions. The African is a fine example of this kind of respect and honor that they have. I wish, life changes for the African in Africa and start realizing the value that they have, the traditions that they have, that their forefathers have taught. The old African believed in ancestors, just much like the Japanese culture. They believed in that when people pass away, they will be helping their fellow men on earth. What a great understanding that is. What a beautiful idea that they now depend on people that pass away that can assist them on that journey. The African always looked to the elders. The young people had so much of respect for the elderly folk. So I think if we can take away a little bit of what the African as taught his own people and to learn from that. I have captured that in my classes. I've captured that in my SMA classes, and when I talk to people, I talk to them about this one type of people that brought so much of value to life.